Okay, today is April 8th, 2021, and the time is 7:37. And this is the opening of the Community Preservation Committee meeting. I will read the virtual meeting information. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 12th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Hubbardston Community Preservation Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with a right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at www.hubbardstonmass.us. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via Zoom. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website a comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right, so I'm going to look and I do not see anyone from the public here. So we will open with the minutes. Did everyone get the minutes? Thank you, Stephanie, for sending them out for this quick scheduled meeting.
Welcome.
There she is, distantly.
You want a motion to approve them? I'll make it.
Well, I actually saw a couple corrections. I don't know if anyone else saw that. So what I noticed was at the very bottom, action on town warrant CPA articles drafted by Susan Worth. Article C for the library exterior improvements was approved for $20,000.
Yeah, I know. I had that in my notes, but then looking at it, it was like, that's not even what they haven't even. I feel like Tom hasn't even really actually sent in a final quote that they're looking for. Is that right?
Well, it was my understanding they sent in a quote for all this work and we nixed out what didn't qualify, but voted to approve what did qualify.
So was the total 20 or 23 that did qualify?
20.
20, yeah.
Okay.
It was
All right, so
33 for the interior.
Correct.
Okay, so I was confused on that, so I just put that, but I'll make that correction. Thank you.
No, that's fine. And then on the next one, for the interior, you had to be updated for the library application. And I have in my notes that this is contingent on guidance from the CPA coalition, whether or not it was approved or not. That's
Okay.
why I wrote to them. That's why I wrote to Stuart last week. And I followed up this week because we were not sure which, if some of the articles like the children's lighting, fell under the guidelines or not. So it was my understanding, what I have in my notes is that this was going to be contingent on their guidance as to whether or not parts of that interior work were actually qualifying.
Okay.
I remember discussing that. Would it get nixed then at this point? Or could we decide to go ahead without Stuart's okay? Or because we don't really need it if we feel it fits the guidelines.
But we did not know if it fit the guidelines. I mean, some of it did fit the guidelines. I think like the safety lighting fit the guidelines. The windows fit the guidelines, but we weren't sure about like repairing and bookshelves in the director's office. We weren't sure about the lighting in the children's room. The patch and paint in the offices, we did nix because that was not in the library, but the other things we were questionable. So I sent, like I said, I sent an email and then I followed up with an email on this Tuesday, or might've been Monday. And we still haven't heard back from, I mean, I did get a response saying he's inundated with emails, he's taking them as they came in. I will definitely follow up again, probably next Monday. But I thought we were going to do a placehold for a warrant article, because then we can always change it. We can always remove it. We can always bring the amount down, we just can't add the amount up. So if we put it in for, what were they asking, the 30? So if we
33.
put it in for 30,000 and then it comes back that, you know, the children's lighting doesn't apply, we can reduce that down to 27,000. We just can't increase the amount in the article, but we can reduce the amount in the article.
Okay.
So if it was 33 and, right, that's what we had talked about for the interior.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna write it for the full amount, even without deleting patch and paint, and wait to see what CPA said.
Yep.
Because as Sandra
Okay, so,
said, it's easier to take it back rather than try to, because it's getting, I think this is going to be at the select board meeting Monday night.
I know, but you can still put, we can still put the article there.
Yeah.
And even on town floor, we can change the article on town floor. We
Oh.
just can't ask for more.
Right.
We can say this article is now 25,000, not 33,000.
okay.
So,
So what's
So-
the feeling on the amount then? Do we want to keep it 33 or?
well, I think that's how we voted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
was to keep it at the full amount, and then based on the guidance by the, you know, CPA, we would reduce it to whatever parts of that were not acceptable.
Okay, I'll change that in the notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
And the other one is 20 for sure though, right? Are we
Correct.
all clear on that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to be sure. And he took out the landscaping and other things that we felt were not applicable, right? Didn't he?
yes, because he actually had the application at 38.5.
Right, so he went back to 20 and I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That will work.
Does anyone feel like we have to motion and revote that, or is everyone comfortable that we actually did that last week and we're just correcting the minutes?
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. We actually did that. We were correcting the minutes. I wasn't sure how to write all that down, so I appreciate that.
No problem at all. Okay, so motion to approve the minutes?
I move
I-
that we approve the minutes of.
Second the
3
motion.
All in favor, and we should have roll called our attendance, I'm sorry. Sanderberry, yes.
Susan Worth, yes.
Dolores Ordway, yes.
Danielle Arakelian, yes.
Alice Livedall, yes.
Kayla Larson, yes.
Stephanie Friend, yes.
All right, so moving on. So the reason I had to call this meeting, and I apologize because I know we had made it for the 24th, but I was given, well, there was miscommunication, I'll put it that way. I was told that they could get the bond money for the playground project in 30 days. And then when I met with them last week, I was told, okay, I'll get back to you. And then I was told, oh, this is the information, and the earliest you can get your money is June 2nd, if you do it now.
Oh,
So if I waited beyond the 12th, another 2 weeks for the Board of Selectmen to meet, it would have been pushed out even more further than that. So, so anyways, it's all good. It's all fine and good. I just wanted to get that bonding money going. So basically what we need to do, and I did send this, is because the article as we wrote it said borrowing up to 7 years, we have to vote on what are we gonna, how many, what's the term? Are we doing 5 years, 6 years, 7 years? When I sent this information to you, I don't know if she sent me this whole email train that she had going back and forth with the banker or the people that they do the money with. And basically she told me that 5 years is the best way for them to get more people to offer them money. I didn't understand how bonding went, but apparently they put out, we need to borrow $150,000 for this project, and banks apply to them and say, oh, we'll take that loan or we'll offer you the money. I didn't realize that. And it's almost like a bid process, it sounds like, but they have to give them 30 days to respond. So the sooner she can get that out, then banks will have 30 days to respond to her as to who would like to provide the loan or do the bonding for the loan. So she did tell me that the further out, like 7 years, they won't get as many offers. They will probably still get some. She said you're better off if you can doing 5 and 6 years, but the further out the terms are, usually the less people will apply to provide the bond. So, but we can still do it either way that we feel comfortable with. Because she said she would definitely be able to get someone to, to provide the bond.
What would the cost difference be between a 5-year bond versus 7?
The what?
The cost difference, what would the fees per year be?
So, so a 5-year is $30,000 for 5 years. The 7-year starts at 25,000 for 2 years and then goes to 20,000 for the remaining 5 years. The 6-year loan is 25,000 each year for 6 years. And the interest rates, obviously, the longer the term, the higher the interest rates. They're pretty comparable. 5 years is 2.5%, 6 years is 2.625, and then 7 years is 2.75. So
Danielle?
difference in total payment. The total payoff for 5 years is 162,000. The total payoff for 6 years is 164,800. And the total payoff for 7 years is 166,900.
So the interest, I think, is what Danielle's after, right? So did you get the charts though, Danielle? Maybe you didn't have a chance to print it out.
I haven't had a chance to look them all over, but
Right.
Sandra just answered it with the total cost over the year. Obviously, 7 is the most expensive.
Right. Well, the interest on the 5 is 11,239. The interest on the 6 is 13,770, and the interest on the 7-year is almost $16,000. It's 15,800. So
Yeah, if the group can, if CPC funds can handle it, then 5 years it should be.
that's what I was hoping people would think, but I was going to try to shut up and I was going to try to listen instead of talk.
I did know about the bond sales because that's what bit the church in the butt. No bank would buy that bond because it involved the church.
And so hence, yeah. I mean, hearing Sandra, the information that it will be more competitive or more people would be interested for the shorter term because they get their money back faster.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the 1,100, that can come out of admin. I talked with Kelly about that just briefly. It was on something else, but so it looks like that's due in June though, right? Am I reading that right?
Yes, you have to pay,
issuance fee.
for it, the
Yeah.
issuance fee when they issue the money.
Okay. So, but we have it certainly. And in fact, that's probably, is there more discussion needed on the 5-year option?
So the only other thing that we have reoccurring is the library, right?
Right.
Correct.
2 more
Year
payments.
and then next 2 years after this year.
Yeah. So the
So
overlap.
that's 50 spoken for out of the 80 that we get each year.
That would be 54 between on the first year, 54,700, and on the second year would be 53,486. But here's the nice thing. The 35,000 has been transferred back to historic.
Nice.
So one of those payments, probably the first one, could come out of historic. Because that would that's
Well, it's not a historic project though.
I'm sorry, what?
It's not a historic project.
Didn't we say library could?
Oh, library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you was talking about the playground. Yes.
Oh, you've got playground on the brain. I
got play- I got- my
can't
God.
imagine a project like that.
I am like dreaming colors of
The rainbow,
in my
yeah.
sleep. Yeah.
Well, and I felt like I should have tried to do a fancy spreadsheet or something, but I did a chicken scratch, and yes, we can afford any of those. And Kayla's point, sure, the first couple of years it's like 50 grand plus out, but we're getting money in, and we can fund all of the current warrants and still be around 100,000 in undesignated.
Mhm.
So I mean, we're not like, going
Yeah.
crazy, but we can handle it.
I had to step away for a second because my little demented mother-in-law, which is what I call her, but not in a loving way, but she has dementia, is having an issue. So I will be right back.
Oh, that's fine. That's
That's
fine.
fair.
Take your time. Well, and the other thing too is this is assuming everything passes on the floor. We don't know, people might vote them down.
Right.
I mean, this is taking into account that everything passes and all this money that we're taking out, like, I mean, like the Fieldstone project, we're paying in full,
Right.
the housing project, I mean, all those projects are paying in full, which is good. So we really don't have any other, terms or commitments other than the playground, and the library for a few years overlapping.
Right.
So,
And then also, if we did the 5-year, we wouldn't, if we did the 7, we'd be almost to the next decade by the time this was cleaned up.
yeah.
And I'm thinking that is, I don't know. I keep on going back to the 5. I don't want to push it, but it just makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I mean, it's kind of a flip side of this, but so when you think of where CPA gets their money from the state, it's from real estate sales. And
And it's going crazy right now.
market's crazy, absolutely crazy.
And I thought COVID would mess things up, but it's worked the other way.
Yeah,
Because
so
people don't have to live in a city. They can move wherever.
Yeah.
so I think that the match is going to be really strong. So that's my take on it. But
Would we have to actually, that first payment is due on 6/1. Is this fiscal year or calendar year? I always get confused.
it's 22. No, it would be next year. So it would be June 2022.
So it's a
we would
fiscal
have-
year.
Mhm.
So we would have time to put this on the warrant. Because otherwise I was thinking, wait a minute, if that was due the
But
third,
what on the warrant?
We have to put,
well, for the debt, to pay back the debt.
No, we don't have to. Oh, no, we don't have to put it on for this year. I think it would go on for
No,
next
that's
year.
what I'm saying. We wouldn't
Yeah.
have to do it this year, but for next
Right.
year, we'd have to be on the ball for that first payment.
so even though we already voted to allocate the money, we still have to re-vote for the debt.
We do because we weren't, because we didn't specify the terms. We said
Okay.
the warrant read up to 7 years, it didn't say for 5 years, if it had, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to meet, but so.
Because
So-
Okay.
the thing is though, if it's due on 6/1 and am I making up a problem then? In other words, we wouldn't even have another meeting until then. So to get the warrant, am I thinking that right?
You're talking about for the $1,100?
No, I'm talking about the first payment because the
The
1,100.
first payment's not till next year,
Right,
2022.
right.
So, no, so it should be fine because we've already voted for the bonding
Right,
in the warrant. So they're just gonna set up however we want it. We just had to vote on the length of term so that they can get the bond money and set up the payments. So,
But we only have to vote. The town doesn't have to vote again.
correct. Because they already voted the project and the way.
It's
it was
nicely done,
funded.
Kayla.
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah,
difference?
I was getting confused between who's voting. Yes,
Oh, sorry.
okay, that makes.
So to pay back the debt, don't we have to do the same thing like we did for the library?
Well, they'll just put it in the warrant articles.
Yeah, okay, but I'm just saying it needs to, we need to think that 34,000 then will be sooner than we think, but we can handle it. So I always get confused with fiscal year and calendar year. The 6/1/22 is actually still, is that fiscal year or
It's
what? Help
Fiscal
me
year
out.
22 still. That's
Yeah.
the end of.
And
fiscal
then
year.
July is.
Yeah, correct.
Beginning.
Next fiscal year. Okay, well, even if we screwed up, we could still cover it. So I just want to be sure.
Yeah, and Susan, we'll have many meetings,
No, if I can worry about
Before they
something, I
happen.
will.
I mean, you're looking at something, 14 months away.
I'm
Wow,
just
you're really
thankful,
proactive.
But the saving grace was getting those other monies that weren't finished up back in.
Mhm.
That just created a cushion that hopefully we're all thankful for,
Yeah.
know? So
All right, any more discussion?
do we need to move that we've chosen the 5 as a formal?
Yeah, someone needs to make a motion and we need to vote.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I vote that the borrowing on the playground be over a 5-year term.
I second it.
Sandra Berry, yes.
Susan Worth, yes.
Dolores, yes.
Danielle, Larry, Kelly, and yes. I'm not sure what order we're supposed to go in.
And Alice Livedall, yes, if you didn't catch it.
Kayla Larson, yes.
And Stephanie Friend, yes.
All right. So moving on to the library applications, we actually don't even have a new library application. I just thought we might have the information back from CPA, but we don't. And as soon as I get that information, I will share that with you, and then we can just correct the warrant.
So for Monday night's meeting, is it already there? It should already be there as the 33 and the 20.
It should. I don't know how you submitted it, but
Well, that's the last one that I did, and I did those 2 saying these are like contingent, but
mhm,
here it is. But
mhm.
I'll follow up on that just to be sure, so we
Okay.
know.
You sent them to David?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, this was way easy, wasn't it?
Does anyone have any old business they want to talk about?
Nope.
New business anyone wants to talk about?
Should we have some sort of a wrap-up meeting at the end of this season, or otherwise just wait, or what?
Well, usually at this point, we would just wait until whatever passes at town meeting, because then that can change everything, you know? So normally, once we get the articles written, unless someone has a reason that we have to meet, we normally don't meet again until August. If we have applications, and if we don't have applications in August, then we wait until applications come in. So that's what would happen. So this might be our last meeting for a few months.
And maybe we'll still be meeting on Zoom.
Yeah, I don't know though. I did see, I was in the town office the other day, and they are talking about moving forward to in-person. They're
Really?
talking about it. I don't think
I
the
bet you
governor's
that-
released it yet, but
I bet you that disappears pretty darn quick.
because we're surging.
Well, we're not doing great. The town
Oh.
didn't do bad this week, but overall numbers aren't going great. And other areas of the world are having a really hard time with the variants, and it's striking younger people, and it's
Yeah.
striking them really hard.
I did see that.
Well-
So I expect in a couple of weeks, we'll be hearing about how schools have to close because the kids are getting sick, and like literally getting sick, not just getting tested positive for COVID. We'll see.
Yeah, I know, because a lot of schools just went back.
They did.
Yeah.
But if you want to be terrified, look up Canada. They're going into a month-long lockdown in Ontario.
Wow. Have they had the vaccine up there though?
They have had the vaccine. The problem is just like us, we prioritize the elderly and the older and the sick because they got sicker, but the variants are hitting younger people and putting them on ventilators.
Oof.
So,
Oh,
yeah. So it's not, hopefully it gets under control. I'm not doom and gloom and thinking the world's going to end, but I do think we're going to see a little bit of a rollback.
Well, I just got vaccinated, so that makes me very happy.
Good girl.
John and I, yeah, we both went together.
and
Nice.
it wasn't that bad. Did you have any reactions?
Sore arm. My arm was hurting, and I felt dehydrated. I had a headache, and I was a little tired, but the next day I was fine. It was like a 24-hour, little thing. That was it. I have to go back for my second one, but yeah, but I had and I found signing up for the vaccine, getting an appointment, no problem.
You were
Good to go.
lucky because there's a lot of people that have had a really hard time getting through and getting into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am, someone tipped me off to go into to check CVS
Mm-hmm.
very early on Tuesday mornings, because they tend to get their vaccines on Monday night, and someone tipped me off to that.
You
And
know,
I just went in on Monday and there was nothing available, so then I went in Tuesday morning at 7:00 in the morning, and we were both able to get appointments.
yeah, my friend Chris managed to do that too, the same thing with CVS. And I've heard that Walmart's going to start offering them.
Mhm.
It'll be
Yeah.
the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for them. So it's a one and done shot, but
So, and actually we end up, it sent me to Winchendon, the CVS in Winchendon, but I don't care. I don't drive to Winchendon. It
That's
was
where I
very-
got all my COVID tests over the past year. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Just in the drive-through pharmacy.
Oh.
Knocked the
was,
thing out the window and I tested and put it back. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, man.
No, yeah, I can't, I've never been to the CVS in Winchendon, but I had to go to CVS here in Gardner the other day, and CVS was doing COVID. They
We were
giving,
lucky to have the
vaccination.
school. We're
Yeah.
lucky to have it at the school. Dr. Stouter and
Mhm.
Judy O'Donnell, everybody, we all communicated and they did it there. So it was
Yeah.
very good. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
That was great.
was good. I must be older than everybody here.
And all the school staff's already been vaccinated too.
Right.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
getting
second
there.
shot.
But
I'm so nervous about next week when it opens up to the public that it's going to be a madhouse to try to get an appointment.
Mhm.
you're gonna have to go to the CVS site at Tuesday mornings really early.
I'll wake up at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard someone said they got theirs at 5:00 in the morning, not the shop, but they went in at 5:00 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, went in at 7, but.
Kayla's an early bird. I can tell. She'll do it. Get it done.
And we'll all need a booster in 6 months, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
it's all right.
Yeah.
It'll all be good.
It'll all be good. So, all right, unless anyone has anything else to discuss, then I guess have a nice summer. So we did have we were going to do what, the 20th? We were going to do the 20th or the 19th. I'm sorry. Was that
It
going to be our next
was
meeting?
21st, wasn't it?
Oh,
Wednesday?
I thought it was in the,
Wednesday.
okay.
I had
So
the
we
21st. Yeah.
21st, yeah, 21st.
So we don't have any reason that we can think of to have that, because we can cancel it then.
Unless the library stuff is confusing, but if Stuart says it's a go, then we're all in place. If he
Mhm.
says something isn't, would we have to meet again to decrease it as a group or what?
No,
Well, we can just keep that meeting time and just meet and discuss what was said and decide if we need to vote, if we want to vote now to change it or what have you. We can do
yeah,
that.
I know at town meeting, you can make motions to bring the number down, but you can't make a motion to completely change the plan. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So if the plan had to completely change, we'd have to change that. I've been wearing my shirt backwards all day, people.
Uh,
I
What's your special?
went to touch my neck. I'm like, why is there a tag there? But so we might want to leave it open just in case they come back with, yeah, no, you can't, do A, B, C, or D,
Okay, that's a good suggestion.
Should somebody do you think that's clear to Tom?
No, we're gonna tell Tom.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're gonna give him the guidance. I mean, they're gonna tell us what's gonna be approved, and from there, we're going to let Tom know. And I mean, they're either gonna say, we don't want to do the project at all, which I doubt that's what they're gonna say. I'm sure they want to at least do parts of it.
I mean, I'm sure the windows and the safety exit
Mhm.
definitely qualify. I'm not sure. I think you have to look at it as what is maintenance and what is rehabilitation.
Mhm.
The windows would be rehabilitation. Painting a wall is maintenance.
What's pointing? The bricks.
That's rehabilitation, because if you
Yeah.
don't point the bricks on the outside of the building will fail.
Will
Okay,
collapse.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what you understand what I'm saying? It's a little bit different, like taking out the plants in the front of the library. Lovely idea, not rehabilitation.
Mhm.
Unless the plant was like the root was going into the building, and causing a problem with the foundation, then I guess you could probably try to squeeze it that way, but
How about, I have the articles right in front of me as I sent them over. So the 33K was to see if the town will vote, okay, 33. to fund the cost of rehabilitating the interior of the main floor of the Hubbardston Public Library, including lighting, interior storm windows, and safety signage.
The safety signage, I think, would fall under historic because of the fact that you need to have that to meet code.
Right.
Similar to if a building had to put a ramp on.
Yep.
The ramp wouldn't be historic, but it would still, you could still, because the building's historic, you could still use CPA funding to do that, to add, to include that in their project. Like if any of the buildings in town were getting repainted and they were going to put a ramp on, that would be allowable.
Right.
The exit sign should be allowable.
So,
The storm windows, that if you don't put those up there, you're not gonna, those windows, they're pretty damn close to the original on that building,
Yeah.
well, as written, what about if I contact town hall and say, take out the lighting?
No,
Because-
you don't have to do that
Well,
right
we're
now.
not gonna pick out anything yet. We'll wait and see what Stuart has to say.
Yes.
Well, I saw somewhere that they put in all new light bulbs somewhere, maybe with the MVP money or something. Municipal vulnerability, something green. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just leave it as is. And then the other one, Tom seemed okay with, well, we're back at 20, but that's what they asked for originally. To fund the cost of brick repointing, repairing, and grading the northeast corner perimeter of the foundation of the Hubbardston Public Library. So brick repointing and then repairing the foundation, but no greenery or anything. So is that
Correct.
accurate?
That sounds
We're all
right.
remembering?
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Okay, well, let's just see what flies and what doesn't, and at least it's easier to take it away than to try to put it in, right?
Yep. And so we will keep that meeting for the 21st, and we should have a response by then. And we can just discuss it and just, tell you how to rewrite it. And, you should be all set.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else we need to discuss?
No, I'm good.
I think so.
enjoy the
All right.
lovely weather before
make 'em-
Can I ask, what are they exactly gonna do to the playground?
What are they going to do?
What's happening at the playground that they're
So,
gonna improve?
well, they're taking the whole playground down and replacing everything.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
we've been working with a designer to design a whole new playground, and it's exciting. Yeah. So it's gonna have whole new modern play equipment, I guess is the way to do it. It's gonna be ADA compliant. So it's going to have a rubberized path for people with disabilities who can get to almost all areas of the
I see.
playground. It's going to be a lot of interactive, like tactile, panels, sensory panels. There's definitely going to be more younger children stuff there, but we tried as best we could to honor and respect the vision of the original design, the parents who designed it 25 years ago and built it 25 years ago. So we're pretty much staying with the same color scheme. We're staying with, we're doing it, you modernize it a little bit, but pretty much the same color scheme, the same type of play equipment for the majority of like the big pieces. But there's like some really cool modern pieces that are going to be, intertwined among that too.
I see,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And
I never go over there, so.
yeah, and one of the biggest complaints that we would get from parents is there's no shade. So we actually are having umbrellas over the tables, but they're going to be more commercial,
I see.
sturdy. So we're just finishing up the colors of it, but it's going to be very similar to what it is now, green and beige, but with pops of like blues, going through it, and a little bit of lime green put in there to just kind of make it a little funny and funky, but
Yeah,
most of it being green and beige like it is now. So
Are you guys getting rid of those little tiny rocks?
yeah, they have to go. They're not
Those
ADA
things were the
compliant at
bane
all.
of my existence when the kids were little. Within 10 minutes, they were flinging them at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, and are you gonna have some champagne and I mean, what kind of an opening? That should be something sort of
Ooh.
special.
I don't know. So right now we're trying to, schedule it so that we can have it opened, before the Hubbardston Fair or whatever that's called,
wow.
the Hubbardston Craft Fair or whatever it is. So we're hoping to do it before then, but I don't know. I mean, there should be some sort of ribbon cutting, I
An
think.
ice
be
cream
fun.
social.
Yes. Oh, that would be a fun
Get an ice cream
idea.
truck. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
food trucks in general.
I
Guys,
wonder if we
maybe
can do that with
have
COVID, but that would be a great idea.
And don't you have that CPA sign up in your attic or somewhere that we need to say this was CPA?
Yeah.
funds or something?
Well, so when the construction starts, that's just a yard sign.
Okay.
We actually will have, so we're gonna have a whole new sign built. It was still
Oh,
gonna
nice.
say Rainbow's End Playground, and then on the sign, it will be this playground was, constructed with CPA, Hubbardston CPA town funds. And
Oh, terrific.
because you have to have a permanent sign,
Mhm.
on there. So that'll be that. So yeah, so we're waiting to work with the designer for the sign because the vendor doesn't do that. But yeah, but it's gonna be nice. I think it's nice.
Well,
Huh.
keep us posted on the progress.
Oh.
Well, of course, we'll see each other in April, probably, but
So I'm hoping by Monday that he will send us, like 3D color design of it, and we're gonna put it out on the Facebook, all the Facebook stuff and on the town website. And he actually does this thing called a flyover where I guess you look down, I don't know, it's moving and it looks like you can see it like as you're flying over it or something. I don't know a lot about that, but
Huh.
he keeps talking about sending us a flyover. So
Wonder if it's a drone. Like a
no,
drone.
no. It's actually a 3D dimension,
like
but
a
I think it
rendering.
kind of moves
Oh.
so you can see from above what it looks like encompass the whole thing.
Oh, that's
Ah.
cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
oh, bravo, the kids will enjoy. And then grandparents can bring their grandchildren, right?
Yes, and they
So
can sit in the
everybody
shade.
can
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty nice.
So,
Well,
Very
thank
good.
you. This was all talked about before I joined, so I didn't know what the plan was, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Didn't we vote on it at town meeting though?
yeah, back in June.
Yeah, okay.
But to say exactly what was happening and what they were building, I wanted to know. So,
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
Good.
I think it's gonna be nice.
Don't forget the ice cream trucks, however.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Kayla. I
That'd be
really,
so
I
fun.
think we can do that.
Like food trucks in general, and maybe they could donate a portion of it to, I don't know. There we are with money again, my goodness.
this sounds like a Katie Young conversation. See if she wants to pull anything together.
It does, doesn't
Right.
it?
See, I'm thinking like, can we use the Lions Club food truck to
Oh,
sell
yeah.
ice cream out of?
Seriously.
And
fundraiser.
my first thought is I'm gonna probably end up flipping the money for that food truck. For the ice cream truck, because I don't know how I'd be able to get that out of any funds, but that's okay. I don't mind donating it. So, yeah, they're not that expensive, the ice cream trucks.
No.
So,
uh,
Well,
but anyways, a lot
think
of
about
fun.
it.
We'll think about it.
Pleasant
All right,
thought.
did we motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sandra Berry, yes.
Susan
Yeah.
Worth, yes.
Dolores, yes.
Danielle, yes.
Stephanie there. Alice Livedall, yes.
Kayla Larson, yes.
Stephanie Friend, yes.